Welcome to Dog or Bust, where we look for the dogs to bite for the cash. Here we are, UFC 255, Deiveson Figueiredo versus Alex Perez for the Flyweight Championship of the World, as well as Valentina Shevchenko in the co-main versus Jennifer Maia for the women's Flyweight title. Both do not look like great plays on the dog side. You know, you have a minus 270 favorite, depending on where you're looking at Deiveson Figueiredo. It's hard not to think he's just not going to steamroll Alex Perez in this spot. Alex Perez coming off an impressive win over Formiga with some leg kicks, but not really what I'm looking for. Deiveson Figueiredo has looked so impressive over his last few fights, especially against, very, world-renowned flyweight contender Joseph Benavidez. So I don't think there's a lot of good value there. Same with Jennifer Maia, even though you can get Jennifer Maia at plus 800, plus 900. It might even be plus 1,000 by the time fight night comes on Saturday night. But I don't think either one of those fights, which is a bummer because it's always fun to bet the dogs in the main and the co-main. I don't think that's the case in this one. But there are some good dogs out there, so let's check it out in round one. We're coming out swinging in this first round as we have women's flyweight contender fight between Cynthia Calvillo versus Katlyn Chookagian. I do not understand this line whatsoever. There is so much recency bias in this fight. It's a little bit strange, if I'm being honest with you. Obviously, if this fight had taken place 1 year ago after Katlyn Chookagian had a great win over Jennifer Maia by decision, which Jennifer Maia is obviously fighting for the flyweight title on Saturday night against Valentina Shevchenko, there's no doubt in my mind that Katlyn Chookagian would be the favorite against Cynthia Calvillo if it had happened in 2019. However, it's not. It's happening in 2020, where we just saw Cynthia Calvillo come off a nice little 5-round decision win over Jessica Ai, and then Katlyn Chookagian on the flip side got finished by Jessica Andrade. With that said, Cynthia Calvillo has been a perennial, strawweight fighter for years, and now she's coming up, obviously coming off that win, though, at flyweight versus Jessica Ai, and then you have Katlyn Chookagian, who's going to be the much taller, bigger fighter, longer reach, more experience. The two things that I would say Cynthia Calvillo has on her side is recency bias, which does not favor her in the fight. But then the other one is motivation. I know that Katlyn Chookagian had some comments before the Jessica Andrade fight about possibly starting a family. So I think that some of that motivation may be part of the reason why Cynthia Calvillo is the favorite. But if you look at this fight, where does Cynthia Calvillo dominate Katlyn Chookagian? There's not really a spot. She's going to look to take her down. She doesn't have the better striking. We know Katlyn Chookagian's always active. Cynthia Calvillo is not a finisher like Jessica Andrade. So where do we see, this line being what it is? It doesn't make any sense at all. I can get plus 220 on Katlyn Chookagian, the former number one and title contender. She was just the number one flyweight contender just like 2-3 months ago. Now she's the number 2 contender, and you're telling me I can get her at plus 220. She is the decision queen. She is going to battle this fight. There's no way this fight's not going to be close. I'm not saying Katlyn Chookagian is going to blow her out. But to get plus 220 on Katlyn Chookagian when I think she should be the favorite in this fight, I'll take it all day long. I love that dog. Katlyn Chookagian for the win Saturday night. Round 2 on Dog or Bust. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video because we're always looking for dogs. All right, so with that said, we have the welterweight fight between Tim Means and Mike Perry. I love this fight, and I love it because there are so many variables in which to look at in this fight. First off, they have very similar records, with Tim Means being 30-12 and then Mike Perry being 14-6. If you multiply Mike Perry's record by 2, you get 28-12. So pretty similar records when you look at it. Tim Means more experience, a little bit older, obviously, more tread off the tires. He is a gamer, though, and he's won 2 of his last 3 fights. Mike Perry, what you have here is Mike Perry's on 2-fight win streak. I know you might say 1 fight, which is his win over Mickey Gall, but don't forget about that old man in the bar. He did finish him as well. So 2-fight win streak. With that said, though, I like Tim Means a lot here. I think Tim Means has the crisper boxing, better stand-up game. I can get him at plus 130 in some spots. I think this fight, I'm actually going to hold off a little bit, I think, before making my bet because I think it may go a little bit higher. I know Mike Perry's a favorite for a lot of people to bet on, so maybe I can get that plus 140, plus 150 range. We'll see. Maybe I'm gambling by not taking the plus 130 now, but I like Tim Means in this fight. A lot of variables, and I know people would say, hey, stay off a fight with this many variables. You don't know what Tim Means going to come out. He's been, he's older. And Mike Perry, you really have no idea what Mike Perry is going to come out. But with all that said, I think Tim Means excited for this fight. I think this is a big showcase for him. He hasn't had a fight like this with so many eyes on a pay-per-view type event in quite some time. So I really like Tim Means here. Get it done, Timmy. Round 3. Round 3, we have another great flyweight fight. This time, a fight between Brandon Royval and Brandon Moreno. And I believe the winner of this fight will be fighting for the flyweight title next versus the winner of Alex Perez and Deiveson Figueiredo. But I love this fight between the two Brandons. You have an absolute grinder coming off of 2 great UFC wins over Formiga and then Kai Kara France and Brandon Moreno. And then you have Brandon Royval, who looked amazing, even though he got rocked early on against Kai Kara France. But he looked amazing on the feet and then had a great submission. I love this fight, but I love this fight strictly because of the number. I think I can get plus 170, and it may even go a little bit higher as I've seen it, some money going on Brandon Moreno. And no doubt, Brandon Moreno's awesome. I just think this is a little bit too high. 3-2, okay. You go minus 150, something like the Tim Means Mike Perry fight where you have minus 150 plus 130. Okay, I think that's pretty even. But now you're saying I can get Brandon Royval at plus 170 and even higher. Brandon Royval is special. He is fun to watch. He's finished 11 of his 12 fights that he's won. It's just too good of a number. Plus 170, like Brandon Royval. He is exciting. Both guys are going to grind it out. It's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. By far on this card, it is going to be my favorite fight of the night, and I definitely want to gamble on it. As long as that number keeps getting juicier and juicier, my money's going on Brandon Royval, but I definitely understand, and I definitely believe that Brandon Moreno should be the favorite of this fight. He's a grinder. He wins decisions. Brandon Royval is more flashy, a finisher. The thing working against me here is that Brandon Moreno does not get finished. But I'm liking Brandon Royval in this fight as the underdog, as the dog. And that's what we're looking for here on Dog or Bust. So with that said, those are our 3 rounds. Katlyn Chookagian in the first round. Then we move on to our second round where we go for Tim Means, and our third round with Brandon Royval. Those are our 3 dogs of the night. Why don't you in the comment section drop down your 3 dogs, and we'll see you next time on Dog or Bust. Peace.